So here we have a third episode now of the Vipid podcast, and I'm happy to have found Althea Finch. Well, actually, she reached out to me after hearing Bow, and has got, I think, a very useful message to share with people. Now, would you like to introduce yourself, Althea?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for inviting me on to talk about this. I think it's a really important topic. Um, Thank you. And so I am Althea Finch. I've been natural therapist for over 30 years. And I originally studied things like shiatsu, reflexology, Reiki, acupressure, Chinese massage, all sorts of lovely things, holistic body work, all holistic body work. And along that way, I developed my skill, learnt more and more. And after about sort of 10 years in, all the information and connected with my personal life and the whole kind of package, something clicked. And I suddenly realized how healing works, the critical factor. And that was the early stages. That was the first step or the first stage spark of the PainFree method, which I'm the creator and founder of the PainFree method. And I've now developed it into an easy 3-step process that anyone can do. Doesn't matter how long you've been suffering, if you've been told there's no cure, if you feel there's no cure, if you've tried everything. I specialize in physical conditions, physical chronic long-term conditions, but I'm really calling out to people to show, you can just get rid of a niggle in your back, or a headache that keeps coming back, or maybe stress at work, or you've got anxiety, or perhaps you've been through things in life that cause you ripples today. So it's really an alignment technique, and that's where the origins were. Download, that spark of sudden realization how it works, how healing works. And I'm very successful at it. I work with people all over the world. I've worked with people with full arthritis. There's one lady, Noreen, who couldn't get out of bed. That was it. Her husband did everything. This sense, when people have chronic conditions and things are really starting to affect them and get in the way of their lives and what they want to do, that's when people tend to finally get some help, or finally let go and start opening up and looking for help. And that particular lady, she was pain-free within 45 weeks, and she was bedbound. And I have many, many stories like that. I tend to specialize in physical conditions because I am spiritual, but I'm a practical girl too. And I feel like that's the most urgent thing, to get you pain relief or symptom relief as soon as possible. So that's what I specialize in, to physical conditions. So muscles, bones, joints, and nerves. But my method's been used for all sorts of things, like high level anxiety, insomnia, past traumas. Loads of people with past traumas, unfortunately. And yeah, what do you want to know?
I want to know quite a few things. I mean, you said that you've tried different remedies, or sorry, practices in the past, such as shiatsu, acupressure, and how comes you always went for the holistic method? Did you sort of see that the the standard allopathic medicine is not working, or what pushed you into that direction?
So that comes from, my upbringing, if it's okay to go that deep. Is that all right?
You can if you want.
Yeah, just briefly. I came from an army background, very strict, very military, very authoritarian, and I'm a sensitive girl. There was no space to express differences, something different, something alternative, no place to express feelings. So that was the kind of core driver. And along the way, as I grew up, and I realized, I wanted to do some sort of body work and connection with people. That's not being able to express, I guess, from my early days, and then wanting to connect. That was the remedy I found. And then I discovered body work and therapeutic work, and my world opened up because of that. That was the basis of it, basically. It was the connection to people. So the very first the physical thing that it was actually an aerobics instructor. That was my very first job. So I learned about the bodies and the muscles and the breathing and
Okay.
everything. And then my first therapeutic training was a standard Swedish massage course, and I knew very quickly that there was no depth to it. There was just working on the muscles, doing all the movements, and there was no real connection to the soul, to the person. So I stopped that straight away. And then I found this amazing guy in North London. He was doing Chinese massage and acupressure, and he was actually an acupuncturist, and he'd developed this course from his training or something, and it was amazing, and it just blew my mind. The psychology of it, the connection to the person, how our different emotions are held in the body, and how to release it through body work. And that was the beginning of, I knew there was, does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does, and I'm really glad that people like you do find their calling quite early on, and you've had so much time to work on that and to master it that you're really doing what you're meant to be giving to the people. I think that's quite
Absolutely.
amazing.
I think we
And I
all have a,
do I do love a Swedish massage as well, but definitely when there's another dimension, such as I've done aromatherapy, or people add a little bit of Reiki to it, or even Chinese medicine has helped me a few years ago. So it definitely, there's something about pressure points in the body and how it's all interconnected in
absolutely. I
ways that
mean,
aren't immediately obvious, but I suppose once you study it long enough, things start to come out.
yeah,
Mm.
definitely. And also, I mean, I remember years ago, I was bulimic, very seriously bulimic, and I was in a dreadful state. And I remember I went to have an acupressure treatment, and they just pressed a certain button, and I don't know, some kind of realization just popped open for me, some sort of awareness, and I thought, blimey, what was that? And that was the I think it was I'd had body work done before, like osteopathy and that sort of thing. My mum was into natural remedies, natural therapies, but I remember that moment of release. I thought, blimey, what's that? So I was interested very early on of that kind of technique.
Okay. I'm going to have to ask you about that one in a little bit more detail afterwards because I've got over the worst stages of bulimia a couple of years ago, but there's still
Oh,
something there and it's lingering, and I'm just dreaming about that shift that you seem to be describing. So,
fantastic.
yeah, this is the right place, and yeah, please send me some sort of resources afterwards.
Certainly.
But
Absolutely. Yeah. If I
uh,
can help and point you in the
anyway,
right direction.
thanks. With the pain-free method, how did you come to discover that?
So that was from, doing working. It was 10 years in, it was about 2000. And I'd been studying, working in clinics, working with loads of people. And that was the realization, that was the trigger. And I realized the key that makes healing happen. So you can do all these, that was the beginning of the pain free method. And
Mhm.
then I, my treatments with people changed from that point, from that moment. I couldn't go back. So what was I doing before? I was using my energy, my force, my focus, my strength, and moving muscles, and thinking about the organs and the liver and the balance of the body and all sort of things. So it's all my kind of effort I felt, and some people loved it and some people didn't like it, and they came back and they were in the same condition. There was no um, uh, stop this happening and moving forward, education for the person, and they weren't doing them themselves either. So I had this realization, sudden kind of apparition of, oh my gosh, this is it. And what was that thing? It was about connecting to you. So you can do all the things to your body. You can force yourself to this and that, onto diets. You can do exercise. You can use essential oils. You can do mainstream medication, operations. It doesn't matter what you do. to your physical body, there's only a certain point that can help to. A lot of these things, natural or mainstream, can definitely help, but they cannot get rid of the problem. So if I give you a little sort of an example of that to demonstrate, if there's a person that's stressed at work and they hate their job, and because of that, they are ratty, they can't sleep, they get skin rashes, they're clumsy.
Which is all too common, really.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Mm.
definitely. And so if that person tries to do things for their natural things or mainstream for their sleep, for the rashes, some of these things can help, definitely will support and help your body, help yourself. But unless the original cause, the root cause, is removed, there's no reason for it. The symptoms have to carry on. I call them messages of the body, like messages I'm hungry, messages I need to sit down, or I need to get some fresh air. They're all messages and they're happening all the time. So, what I noticed over the years is that people don't tune into themselves. They look outside of themselves for support and help. And the pain free method is about tuning back in, listening, connecting to those messages in a way that they go. And that's what I teach. That's what you learn from me. Okay, if you have that, you have residual bulimia, things going on. Okay, you can't control yourself. That's not what it's about. That's like King Canute stuff. Like we can't make ourselves different. We can't willpower things out of the way because there will be reasons and feelings and thoughts why you do anything. Not just bulimia, but for anybody who's listening.
Anything.
Yeah, if you have backache, if you have shoulder problems, if you have heart conditions, your body doesn't do something for nothing. So what I teach is how to connect to the messages, connect to you, connect within, and that's where the balance is. That's where the release is of the problem, and it's really simple to do. So the key factor is connecting to you. That's what I discovered. And it still took me another 20 years to develop the method into an ABC that anyone can do. Because, I was in a clinic, I had this apparition, I had all this knowledge I was building up, and I loved working with people. I really care about people, I'm very empathetic,
Hmm.
and I really felt for them, but they weren't getting it, they weren't learning anything. So I was doing it with my hands on their body and connecting to them inside. And from that point, the body releases. Before I would have pushed around a muscle and bone or whatever. And then from that point, I wouldn't start working on them until I felt that inner connection that I got them, that I could connect with them like oh yeah, I can see who you are, that inner spirit we
Could you describe what that moment of connection feels like? How can you tell?
that I feel you. I can see what you are, who you are, and and it's vice versa. It doesn't go one way. It's both ways. It's like a human connection. When you're with somebody and you can feel like you're not really connected, you don't really get each other, but then
Yeah, yeah, I know that feeling.
yeah, and you probably have it with your mum or your sister or friends or something that you have that inner connection.
What can
That's
you do?
what.
Well, what can you do? You can't force people. You can't make someone tune into your wavelength. It's up to them if they
There it
want
is.
to or if they're not going to.
Very good point. Very good point. So, when I work with people, I always have I do a free consultation to make sure that we connect and we are
Yes.
like how I'm talking with you, and my work sounds the right thing for you, and you're ready and open, and there's that definite um, give and receive feeling that do you like what this is? I'm going to do this with you. Are you ready for that? Are you ready to be pain free? Are you open? Will you let me guide you? This is clinically, this is what I do, but we feel it all the time with everybody. You either have a connection or you don't, and you can feel it. It's a human quality, isn't it? Right? We
Yeah.
all have it. You can feel it. So that was the critical factor. And what I do, I'm very analytical and I'm very pictorial. So when I'm touching someone's body, or even just talking to somebody, I'm assessing like who are you kind of thing. I'm trying to figure where you're coming from, and I see stories. So if somebody's in a I don't know in a grumpy mood or got tension in their shoulders or something, I know I'm guessing in the beginning, like, is it this, is it that, what's that coming from, why is she like that, what's going on there, and I see stories and roots and patterns, and at a certain point I just get it, I see the person, I have enough information to kind of connect, and I have that feeling of connection, and then I can start working with you, you know. Otherwise, it's just me doing something to you, you know. It's not. It's
It's
like
not really interactive if it's just one person on working on the other and the patient isn't helping themselves in any way.
that's right, and you know, it's not right. It's not for everybody. I remember working in the clinics that I would start working with them, and I wouldn't kind of move my hands until I felt that what's I don't speak to them, you know. So what's the problem? What do you need? And and I had some ideas, and you know, obviously had a lot of body work knowledge. And then some people couldn't go there; it was too much. You know, perhaps trauma, perhaps they weren't used to it, or wasn't something they were expecting. So you know, it took me a long time to learn how to calibrate this and how to make it into. So I was doing it all with my hands and in my feelings and thoughts. And well, how do you get that? What am I doing? I didn't even know what I was doing. It just was a feeling and a following and a trusting. So how do I make that into an ABC that someone else I can give that? Look, there it is. Here you go.
But you know now,
I know now.
you know now.
And it's really exciting. It's really exciting, Nika. I mean, as long as people are ready and open and they feel we have that connection, they feel like they want my help and they're ready to help themselves. Um, I've done some amazing work with people. It's been, the body is amazing, you know, when you let it, given the right circumstances, your body will heal. And that includes emotional healing, past traumas, mental stresses, insomnia, you know, all sorts of things.
That's
I mean,
great. Do
yeah,
you
it's
want to share
exciting.
what the steps are for anyone who would
Yeah.
like to start
Yeah.
working on
Well,
themselves?
absolutely. Well, the first thing is to look within, not without. So we often look without for who can help me, how can I get help? But the answers are always within. So that's the first sort of general mind shift that I would encourage. And sometimes it's not easy. You know, you may have been in a looking outward kind of state for a while. So it might be really triggering and really testing even just that step. But your body is a self-healing system and it's always on your side. So when you get hot, you know, your thyroid gland is going to adjust the temperature so you're 37 degrees, and if you get hot, you're going to sweat, and so your body is always doing self-regulating things, all being well unless something's wrong or going wrong. And even when something's going wrong, it's not really going wrong. And that's
It's trying to protect you from either a real or a perceived threat. So,
yeah, that's right, all the time. And that's 24/7. So
mm,
so even when it's a simple thing like you're hungry, your tummy will rumble, your blood sugar will drop, you'll start to feel hungry, you'll start to think about dinners, you know, what you're going to have for food. And so it's a whole mechanism together. So, and if it's perceived threat or a real threat, if there's danger, and absolutely, or if there's imagined things as well, it's as real as imagined things are as real things. Um,
exactly.
and so that's the first kind of the first thing to do is to be ready and open to heal. Are you ready? Have you had enough of your thing? Because I know when I was bulimic years back, it wasn't until I reached the barrel, I reached the bottom line, and I tried everything. I tried forcing myself, and I thought about incarceration. I dieted. I told people. I didn't tell people. I tried everything.
Sorry, what does incarceration mean?
Well, I was thinking about maybe I should go to the doctor and they could. I wanted to be locked in a room and fed the exact amount of food to force me to eat the correct amount.
Yeah,
So
I know it's so sad at the time.
it's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
A real prison. Um, so I tried all sorts of things, and it was 10 years of horror. And but you see, it's not just physical; it's also emotional. All symptoms are. They're never just physical. So trying to get rid of your physical symptoms, it can work to a degree, but it just won't clear the system. It won't stop the symptoms. You have to address the whole of you, and that's part of the realization I had, that you have to address the whole of you. What are you going through? What's your feelings? What's your heart? What's your life experience? And what are your views on life? And the whole package of you. You have to address the whole thing. because you're
Yeah.
not just a problem area. You're a whole person, so you have to address the whole, and that's where all these techniques I was learning. It's all about holistic. It's your emotions, it's your thoughts, it's your physical, it's your life experience, everything. So that's another sort of angle to consider when you're wanting to heal. Look at the whole thing. Um, I mean, with the pain-free method, there are 3 clear steps that I take people through, and I take people through a 90-day program. I do have other options for people to explore if it's right for them as well, but the program is a 90-day program, and it's a 3-step process. So the first thing is, are you ready and open to start healing? That's really
So
important.
90 days, that's sort of the average time when people can expect to see some sort of results.
You can expect to see results straight away because when you do the right things, when you touch yourself, your body would automatically, you'll automatically feel it, right? You don't wait 90 days
Yeah,
or three
yeah.
minutes. It's immediate. Your body's immediate. The thing that can take time is the reason you have your problems. So you might have
Okay.
patterns of behavior that you may not even, you may be in denial even. You may know what they are. That can take time to unbuckle from. There's a lady in the program who is, she's been in a few months now, and she has, she was the eldest of the children, her siblings, and she was always having to be responsible. So she's got a has to be responsible thing going on. And consequently, there's many details to the story, but consequently, she has a lot of hip pain, a lot of back problems, shoulder pain. And one of the critical stories in her is she was always responsible. And that goes till since she was a little girl. So it can take time to unbuckle, to recognize the patterns, recognize what's going on, and learn how to release the problems. So
So for
90,
her, it was a little bit like she had to carry the burden, and then that weighed down on her shoulders or her hips
yeah,
or
something like that.
whatever
Yeah.
it was.
That's right, and the body's really literal. The body doesn't lie. It does exactly what's on the tin. It's exactly what's within you. Your body will show physically, as your emotions do, as your thoughts do, as your life circumstances do. I've heard this thing from Bruce Lipton recently, from David Charalambos, who teaches about communication, good communication with people. That this comes from Bruce Lipton, he was speaking to, and he said, if you want to know what's within you, look around your life, and it's a reflection of what you feel within, what you're thinking within, your life experiences. Look around your life and see what's going on. We often go into blame and it's because of this, it's because of that, which is normal. We all do it, but it doesn't get you free of it. My method does. It releases it from the nut immediately. But it, as I said, it can take time to unbuckle from whatever it is that's holding you in place for from whatever you away from what you want. I mean, the 90 days, it takes 90 days to go through the program effectively. That means in 90 days you learn the process, and there are 3 stages. There are 3 main stages. The first step is to get rid of the problem. I feel it's really important to get relief as quickly as possible, get you into the right mindset as soon as possible. Because if you're trying to fix something, that's the wrong mindset. You have
So
to
what do you mean by saying get rid of the problem immediately?
get pain relief, get symptom relief straight away, as soon as
Okay.
possible. As soon as possible.
So just alleviate the symptoms to begin with.
Exactly, exactly. Now, some things are really stubborn, but then we go into step 2, which is release the reason it's there. That's a critical factor, and that's the deeper healing. That's when you stop things coming back, you stop things developing, you recognize your triggers by this stage, you understand exactly why you're suffering what you're doing, and you know, and step 1, you know how to get rid of it. So you're having a deeper awareness. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, so I'm guessing you just need to be brutally honest with yourself at that point and
Well, you will.
allow
Well,
things
you will
to
be.
arise as of and when.
Yeah, well, you will be. You know, if you're ready and open to heal, you feel things. You feel in pain. You feel discomfort. You feel unhappy. There's no ambiguity. You don't have to be brutally uh, honest with yourself. You just are. Like that lady, you know, she's taking a long time to unbuckle from her pain. She's doing it. She's winning, but
Good.
now, yeah, and but now she knows, she recognizes clearly that it's about the responsibility she's been taking all her life and that pushes her to pain, pressure in her body, and pain in her body. So instead of taking painkillers or suffering or just putting up with it or whatever, now she's learning to unbuckle from it, and she's getting results, and she recognizes the pattern that's creating it. So it's very important to have those two main stages. There's nothing wrong with you, any one of us. We are the way we are because of whatever. It's just normal. Even if you feel there's something wrong with you, even then there's nothing wrong with you. It really isn't. You've been bulimic. Yeah, I've been bulimic. You come from a very dark place. We know what that's like.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
it's just annoying at
annoying.
this point.
Absolutely. And that annoyance is your trigger to look for solution. And perhaps that's even partly why we're meeting, and
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
I
mean,
guess.
you said like getting rid of the source of the problem, which, for example, it could have been about the person who didn't enjoy their work, and then that makes them ratty or it makes them have
Yeah,
a skin condition. It could be that you're removing something physical as well, like the source of your discomfort or pain or anger, or whatever.
totally. You stepped on a thorn. That's pretty obvious, but you still need to sort the infection, get rid of it, understand why it happened, sort that issue so it doesn't happen again. Treat yourself for the infection, to give it time to heal. Don't walk on your foot until it's healed up. So there's a whole process to healing. So, and what I teach is to get rid of it, remove the reason it's there, and the third step is to get back you. So very often we get into the stories of what we're suffering very easily, emotionally affected, mentally affected. Maybe it's a family way or something that you're not happy about, or a life circumstance way. It's very easy to lose ourselves. And a lot of people who come to me, they often have long-term chronic pain, typically, and they say that they can't remember what it's like being pain-free, or who they are, or who they were. So that's all about building you
Wow.
back up again, bringing you back full and center. That's the
Yes.
third step. The third is filling your cup, making life work the way that you need it, you want it, your wishes, exclusive of anybody else, of exactly what does that mean for you, what's your life, and building you back up. So it's a really full program to take you through the process of change. And healing is about change. It's not about just get rid of the problem. If you just do that, it will come back, because the reason it's there is not removed. So it's important to go through the stage. And then how are you going to stop it recurring? How are you going to stop those patterns keep coming back, or
Mm.
keep attracting the wrong friends or the wrong circumstances? That's step three. So you're really confirming to yourself, to the universe, to your body that this is what I want, and you're going to be practicing that. And it's not difficult. It's just us. We sort of get in the way. Our challenges with ourselves, our resistance within us. That's where the blocks happen.
So
That's what takes time.
yeah, the pain-free method, it really seems universal that you could use it for pretty much any problem that you have within yourself.
Definitely. I mean, I call it an alignment. I mean, because I'm a practical girl and I work with bodies, I love seeing the quick difference of if somebody has back pain and then it goes. I love that, and I love to give that to people. I love to see people to feel that, and it's
Isn't that a great feeling?
fabulous.
Yeah.
It's just the best. What are we all here for goodness sake? To help each other
Yeah.
and soothe each other and help each other, and absolutely. And what was I going to say? I lost my track a bit, but yeah, to see the change in people, especially when they don't feel that they can be pain free or symptom free, and they get it, and they get it. It's lovely. It's lovely. Somebody said they're in love with me forever.
That's
But
cute.
okay. It's brilliant. And that particular guy, he was very. Most people come to be very skeptical that that this can work for them. Sometimes they look. I've got loads of testimonials on my website, and sometimes they say, "Well, I know, I get it. I can see that it works, but I'm not sure it's going to work for me." And that's what a lot of people come to me skeptical.
That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, if
But
you
obviously they're not that skeptical. They're willing to sort of give it a go because otherwise it
think
probably wouldn't work for them at all, would it?
absolutely, absolutely. Because I've, you know, as I said, I have a free consultation to chat together and see, you know, see if there's I'm the person you want that you want. And so a lot of people come onto the call and realize that I'm not talking the right language for them, and there it is. I'm not the right person. Somebody else perhaps is going to be the right
Somebody else might
person.
be, or they're just not ready.
There it is. There it is. And that's a critical factor. You know, it's when you're ready, then you become open.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's when it comes to the point that you can't, it's affecting your mood, it's affecting your life, you can't go outside, you can't stand up, or on some level, it's blocking you from getting to the goals that you want, physically or otherwise. You can feel that, you know, there's that sort of dark cloud, and but how do you get rid of it? It's actually very simple. You know, we tend to get into the games and um, the stories of the situation. If you have a physical thing, maybe you feel down, maybe you feel irritable, maybe you can't work that day, so you're feeling less of a self or something. You know, maybe you self-attack, you feel bad because you can't do this and can't do that, or maybe you put it out to others and you say it's others the blame for this and that thing I went through, and we get into the story so easily. We're human. It's normal.
I guess.
I guess, yeah, it's
Or
normal.
the victim mentality can be quite easy to fall into.
Very easy, very easy. But then, you know, what's wonderful about healing is that you always have the opportunity. So if you get it all pear-shaped, you get it really bad, you go down the wrong track multiple times and stay there for ages, at some point, I feel that the inner spirit will just, there's a part of you that doesn't want to be there because it's not nice. You're not happy. You're not comfortable. You're not living the person you want to be, and that I don't know what it is, our spirit or something, just won't let it go. Won't
I
let it
don't know.
go.
I think as long as you're not dead, then there's always some sort of chance to get back to a normal state of being or above normal.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And it's always there. And your signals, I call the messages, you know, your signals of your body are always there, 100% of the time. So you can choose to ignore things, you can try to control things, you can focus on other things, you can do whatever you want. But the signals are always there for you anytime you're ready, 24/7, 24/7. And you know, when you are in that place of um, wanting something other, wanting something enlightenment or better for yourself, or improve things for yourself, in that moment you'll notice things. They say, isn't that saying of when the student's ready, the teacher appears?
Yeah.
You know, you'll find that
Right.
book, you'll have a podcast, you'll your friend will say something, you'll notice something.
Yeah. Do you notice that the more you go along this path, the easier it becomes to manifest the exact things that, or people, or situations that you need?
Yes, definitely. And I find the ego and the mind gets in there so much. But when um, I mean, I could so many examples. I can't even think of one at the moment. But like, I don't know, like well, I'm driving my kiddie to school, and we're running late, and there's traffic, and despite my emotions, my stress, or the traffic, despite the evidence of it that I'm experiencing in that moment, I still envisage myself delivering her at the school, and she smiles, oh, nice smile, bye, mum, and oh, I think to myself, oh, I got there on time, that's cool, and I feel really good, and so despite the evidence I'm experiencing in the moment. I'll do something like that, and when I get there, it's surprisingly early, and it's like
Hmm.
I don't. It's not like I sort of control anything. It's like when I notice the coincidences happening, I clock it. I try to clock it, not always, but I try to clock it. Think, look at that. You know, I asked for that thing, and
Well,
that thing.
sometimes you do get delayed for a reason that is then in your benefit.
Yeah, there could be that as well. It could be absolutely. There could be that reason too. I just tell you one because it's quite funny because I'm talking about my daughter a little bit, and so my if it's okay, just so
Yeah, I'll tell you one as well after you.
okay, cool. So she says, Mum, can I have donuts? Mum, can I have donuts? No, darling, they're too sweet. Come on, no, it's going to make your teeth rot. No, Mum, can I have Mum, I really like those donuts. We walk past, we go into Sainsbury's and there's a whole rack of donuts. I said, come on this
Of
way.
course.
And she's like, Mum, can I have those donuts? No, no, no. Anyway, it's no, no, no. Please, please, please. So this goes on for, I don't know, 2, 3 days or something. Mum. And,
2 or 3 days. Okay.
well, probably longer than that, but she went through a donut thing, and she's only 11. Well, she's 12 now, but yeah. So this went on and on every time. Donuts, donuts, donuts. No, no, no. And then somebody knocked on the door. I think it was intensely about 2 or 3 days or something because we were in the shops and all that. And yeah, somebody knocked on the door, and it was our neighbours. I don't think in how many years I've been here, 18 years I've lived here. I don't think they've ever knocked on the door. He knocked on the door. It had a big box of donuts. Would your daughter like this? Because we don't want them. I don't know what was going on there, but would your daughter like them?
Her desire was strong.
It was, of course I let her have them. It was just, I mean, you
You
could make it
couldn't
up.
not. You could not at this point.
I couldn't not. I couldn't not. Of course, I'd let her. And it was just the most amazing thing. And I mean, I look at it, more sort of analytically, like that was the way she was going to get donuts. Her mum wouldn't let her, so she didn't have the money, so she couldn't. And her mum wouldn't let her, so she couldn't. And look at the universe. The universe said, well, perhaps she'd let a neighbour come in, and then she'd give her donuts, and then she'd say yes. So it's like she found a way for that will if she wanted. She
Mm,
envisaged every detail. So see how the universe works in a way that it happens. The will
yeah.
and the opening and the opportunity. It will work every time
I
when we
think
look
it
at it.
doesn't always have to be a massive events that we want to will.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just as simple as I fancy eating this thing, or I would, uh, yeah, or I just like a green light, or I'd
Yes,
like to,
absolutely.
just
Absolutely. And it's always about getting to the feeling of it. And the feeling of it is the critical factor. The feeling of it. You can't just want something because that's like you don't have it. As somebody was highlighting to me the other day, that's really true. I want this thing. The other day, a while back, I just thought it'd be really nice to go swimming. I thought, oh, I don't know, I can't face the public swimming pools, all kiddie piss, and I don't know what. I thought, I don't know, too cold. And why can't I have a nice? Why don't I have a friend who's got a nice private pool and says, come on, Althea, go into my private pool with nobody there, and it's all lovely and clean. I thought, yes, that's what I want. And I just thought, wouldn't it be nice? And I imagined myself swimming in it. I thought, yeah, that'd be good. And then I forget about it. 2 weeks later, I'm in my auntie's pool, private pool in Spain. I didn't even know she had a pool. And
wow,
I know,
lovely.
I'm swimming in this amazing private view with incredible views, clean, nobody there. I'm thinking this is, and I remembered my sort of daydream wish of nothing. I thought, look at that. And of
It's
course,
just
gratitude.
funny.
I
It's funny
know.
that
Look at that. I mean,
sometimes I even just hear a song and I'm thinking, oh, it'd be really good to find out what the name of it is so I can search it up and have a dance later. And then maybe a few months down the line, you discover it. And I'm like, cool, I wanted that.
yeah, exactly. That's
And
it.
it's funny because where I'm living with my mum and her husband at the moment, we have a private pool. And
Oh, cool.
I I don't use it very much because personally I prefer lakes. But um yeah, I don't know. If you want a pool, you'll have to get in touch with them.
I'm coming over. But look at that, even this conversation, as we're speaking about it, you happen to mention the same thing that you had a private pool. I mean, how many people have private pools?
Not a
Yeah,
lot.
not a
And to
lot.
be fair, I don't, it's kind of unjust because I don't really enjoy living here, and yet a lot of people probably would. So why, I don't know. That why wouldn't someone else? swap. But
Why not?
anyway,
It is, there's give and take everywhere, everywhere, all the time. I used to listen to Abraham Hicks a lot, and she said that manifesting is the same from a button to a castle. It's only our
yeah.
belief, it's only our belief systems that get in the way. We get in the way. Exactly the same with healing. That, if you feel you can't heal, then you definitely won't, because your body doesn't work without you.
Mm,
You are like how that person inside of you, how you forge ahead, what you think, your drive, that's you, that's the real you, not your body. Your body is a part of you, a reflection of you. So it doesn't work on its own. It reflects you physically, it reflects you emotionally, it reflects you mentally. Your life
mm.
reflects how you feel.
It's your vessel, and it just makes sense to look after it. And I
Definitely.
love my body, and it's great living in it and being able to flip around through the air and do amazing things. That feels nice.
Amazing. And that's a very valuable healing lesson you just spoke, that um, enjoying where you are in your body and blessing your body and having fun. And this is a very valuable lesson in healing. Really important self-love for your
Yep.
body in any form. And especially if you're having a tough old time, or if you're not happy with yourself, really important, even more valuable. That's actually the very first time I started to heal from bulimia. Was I was in a terrible state, as you know what that's like, and
Mm.
I reached rock bottom.
I don't
And
know, it just seems that this is only part of the process. There's still something else to come afterwards, as you were saying.
part of the process of what, the first stage of healing, you mean, or what do you mean, the part of the first?
Oh, like you said about loving yourself,
Yeah,
and um, you said that that was quite a pivotal point. And in my case, I do love myself, and I do really enjoy uh, being me, for want of a better word. But
amazing.
there is still something that's missing, and I'm trying to figure out what that is.
And
Let
that's
me
where you're
get
going
there.
wrong. That's where you're going wrong. Which is normal, we all do it. Trying to figure it out, you're coming into the head. You see that? Trying to figure
Okay.
out something. Well, if it's actually happening, then I call it an ism. It's already happening. It's a fact. So what are you trying to figure out for a start? And trying to figure out is just using the wrong tool for the wrong job. If it's something in your life or something in your feelings or something in your body, that's where you've got to connect to. That's where you connect to, and that's what the pain-free method is.
Hmm.
Connect to the thing so it
And also another question is that realizing what's going on with yourself and then releasing it are two different things. Like, how do you bridge that gap and get from one to the other?
well, the first point is that it's not really a bridge. It already is in existence. So knowing where you are, the problem where you're at. So now you know it. There's no
Yeah,
bridge.
you know it, you're
Feel it.
aware of it
You're
in
aware of
your,
it,
your mind.
and what to do about it. Yes, I mean there's two things that majorly get in the way of healing. One is that you don't know how, and it took me at least 10 years to learn. And I'm a therapist, so for most people, I think it's sort of guesswork, putting the feelers out and asking your friends, seeing what other people do, learning yourself. It's guesswork. We're not typically taught how to self-heal. So maybe you just don't know. Then maybe that's all the problem is. You just don't have the knowledge. And the other thing that stops people healing is that you have blocks to healing. Maybe you've been through traumas. Maybe you have a lot of arrogance or blocking, or patterns you don't want to change, or maybe you're in denial, or things that are uncomfortable. So there's a lot of dark places and worms that we don't want to go to, and that will stop you healing. But as I said, you're never left. You always have the opportunity, 100% of the time. When you're ready, the opportunity is there for you. So there's not really a bridge. It might feel like a bridge. If it feels like a bridge, then that's the problem. If there's a bridge, if that's the problem for you, that there's a bridge between the two, of knowing what the problem is and doing something about it, then you're focused on the bridge and trying to figure out the bridge, but there isn't any bridge. It's already there.
It's already within you.
It's already with everything's within you. Exactly.
Mm.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
I know that ultimately we have the power to heal ourselves fully, and it depends on how strong your resolve is. Obviously, other people can be the catalyst because they can give you that prod or that bit of advice or some sort of remedy it can give you.
Definitely. So many things, so many lovely
Ultimately,
things.
are it you are in charge of that if it
Spoken
works or
beautifully.
not, how well it
Spoken.
works.
Spoken beautifully. That's it. That's it. So it's all as a whole kind of package of where you're at. Do you want to change? Are you open to change? To let the information in from whoever's giving it to you, you know? And there's nothing to fix. There's nothing broken. You're not broken. It's just a journey and a journey of experience and experiencing different circumstances or feelings, learning about you, learning about your life, about
Mm,
life. It's all just experiences. It's never your soul is not these things. Your soul is not troubled. Your soul is not hasn't got any problems. Your soul is not these emotions.
good. It's reassuring.
Yeah, definitely. And I've proven this method for 23 years now, and I work with people with I work with people with full-on conditions, full-on dreadful nerve conditions, back pain, arthritis, endometritis, hip problems, shoulders, knees, migraines, all sorts of things, and more, as well as physical. And it works. It works a treat. And the only thing that sort of gets in the way, that takes time for release, as I see, is these things we've just been saying. Perhaps they're not quite ready. Perhaps things are too traumatic, and it's not easy for them, and that just takes time. But so healing is always love. It's not about change. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to become anything else. You already are everything you need to be. So it's a very soothing, uh, peaceful experience.
Force is not really the most effective
No,
method.
no, it isn't. There's a place for everything, I think. For every manner and every way, there's a place for everything. There's a time and place for everything.
Yeah.
But for release, what I understand about release and pain release or symptom release is that it's about alignment. It's about connecting to you, going within, not without. So going within, and it's about alignment. So that's why my method works on not just physical conditions, but for emotional states or difficulty in relationships or past traumas or mental states. So because it's an alignment. When these things are happening, when you're in trouble in any way, I call it like an out of alignment thing. Your energy is split for some reason. We have all these different parts of us. We have our physical body, we have our emotions, we have our thoughts, our dreams. We have so many levels of us. And when we're happy, it's because everything's aligned together. Everything's working in harmony together. All parts of us are working in harmony.
Yeah.
And when you don't feel okay, these are our messages to say, pay attention to this. Now, in these moments that we're going off, and that what we need to do is realign, reconnect. That's healing. That's what I teach. But what we're typically taught is, oh, that thing's a problem. That backache's a problem. I need to, something wrong with my spine, something wrong with my vertebra, something, I'm stressed at work. It's this, it's that, this is the problem. And this is the biggest mistake people make, that they make the problem the problem. But if they see it in the correct way, which is your body signals to tell you where to focus to get back into alignment, connect with it, connect with the problem, connect with it. That's where the magic happens. And the mind is, we're not taught this stuff. We're not used to this stuff. One of my clients said that it's not that it's difficult, and it's not. It's really simple to do. It's very straightforward. It's instantaneous, but it's something that we don't do. We just don't. We're not used to it. We don't do it. So that's what I
Well, it
teach.
would be considerably easier if in society these concepts were actually normalized and
Mm.
people were encouraged to look at themselves rather just the symptoms of what's
Absolutely.
going on outside.
That's it, exactly. Go within. Listen to your body is a self-healing system. Your instincts will tell you things all the time. Your feelings will tell you things all the time. Even if you don't know information, even if you don't know what's going on with you or what's going on around you, you'll feel things. And you might just know nothing more that you just don't feel okay about that thing or something's wrong,
Sometimes.
you know? I remember when I had my baby, my baby was his head was stuck down there in my body, and they wanted to scan me, they wanted to do all sorts of things, prod me about, and I just went in. I thought, well, I feel really good about my baby. I don't feel anything wrong. And bear in mind, I've been a reflexologist for 20 years,
By
and
that point.
yeah, and I work with about half my clients were people trying to get pregnant, being pregnant, trying to give birth, a lot of pregnant women. So I was really sensitive to women's experiences in childbirth. And without exception, every woman who had a problem with the baby felt it. They knew something was wrong, without exception. So when I had my baby, I just went within. I thought, I feel really good. I don't feel any problems going on in there. And it turned out just the sac, the womb was broken, and there was a not a problem, but the baby head couldn't engage, couldn't go down, and everything was fine. Beautiful, healthy boy, nothing wrong, and the panic, going outside. So this is something that you have to watch out for, especially what we've been through in the last 3 years. The rise up of the trigger of fear. Fear stops you. You won't think for yourself. You go into reactionary state. Fear is a very damaging emotion. Emotions that trigger you. So that's why it's very, very important to go within, meditate, do, self Reiki, spend time in nature, find your peace in whichever way you can regularly, you
All
know?
important things to do.
Yeah,
And just to
definitely.
make time for it in your day, because all too many people will say, well, I'm too busy or it's too much effort. But then when you actually start to practice it, you realize that it's no much more effort than it would be to just put your shoes on and walk somewhere, or the effort you might put into cooking. Like, you make time for things that you want to make time for. I don't know, maybe you've got a really long commute, so why don't you make time for things that actually make you feel better as well?
Absolutely. There it
So,
is. Absolutely. And it's like a more sort of subtle energy, a subtle feeling. Like in this world, we tend to do and got to get things done, finish the list and achieve. And very, they call it yang energy, very direct, very dynamic energy. And can't be weak, and if can't be stupid, and can't get it wrong. And it's very dynamic, male energy. But healing is
which
the
is okay when you need to
yeah,
get things done, but yin and yang is
absolutely,
balance. So,
definitely. It's all
what's
needed.
one without the other?
It's all necessary, but healing is more subtle. It's
Yeah,
it's because
right.
it's because of doing that thing makes you feel good. Walking with your bare feet on the grass, it feels lovely. The feeling of
Oh, it
it.
feels lovely. Yes, if only I was blinking allowed to do that in my house without them going, no, 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 these white carpets, you can't do that. I'm like, ah.
See, there's the thing, isn't it? And so something that makes you feel good. Actually, you're triggering all your endorphins. You're making your blood sugar, your blood pressure drop. You're making your heart regulate. You're you're allowing the oxygen to naturally flow to your brain so you can think clearly and feel inspired and help you make decisions. Your good feeling endorphins are flooding all over your system, and it all works together. So if you've got a problem in your back or problem wherever, in that moment you won't think about it because you feel good and it feels lovely, and you just buzzed up. Your energy rises.
Exactly. It's really quite simple
It really
once you
is.
get to grips with it.
Definitely. It's us that gets in the way. We make things so complex. I mean, we are complex creatures. So many
Yeah.
details in life, and who thinks what, and who says what, and what do we feel, and what have we been through. We're incredibly complex, but if you want to just let it go, you really, really can. And that's what I take people through. And that's why it takes the 90 days to take people through the process of. I hope by the time they've left me, they have a multitude of simple, straightforward, direct tools that make sense. They feel easy. They won't forget what to do going forward, because in any given circumstance, they'll have so many things that are easy and simple to. Oh, well, that worked last time. I'll do that thing, and it'll work for them because it did before. So they'll have practiced the releasing part multiple times. They'll have learnt the deeper understanding, like the kind of things we're talking about on this call, self-awareness, going within, doing things that make you feel good, and more, and bringing themselves back into the center, so
So
that
that is the alignment process.
yeah, yeah,
That
it
once you've gotten rid of something, you're not just left empty, you're then refilling yourself with the positive stuff.
definitely. And so it's like a three-step process. You don't just buy the food, you also cook it and you also eat it. It's a whole kind of cycle. And what's really lovely, when people start learning how to relieve their symptoms, they automatically become evangelistic and start sharing the knowledge and helping each other straight away. There was one lady who had it's beautiful. Yeah, that makes me my heart sing, because that's the whole purpose. If I can teach you, but then you teach others, I that's the pay it forward thing.
Well, we already created a wave, so
Yeah, it's a fantastic thing. I mean, one lady, she came to me with high level anxiety, and she hadn't been out the house in 18 months, and within a couple of days she was out. And it was about 2 weeks later, she was helping her husband get rid of migraines. Just a couple of weeks later. It doesn't take long to learn how to do it, because what you learn from me comes from my observations of years and years watching, noting, observing people, how they respond, learning all this stuff, learning about the body. Um, so everything I teach you, you get from me is makes sense, it's straightforward, it's obvious. You may have been doing a lot of things yourself, but didn't sort of make label it exactly, didn't sort of on purpose do it as a thing. You may be doing loads and loads of great things for yourself, but then it might be just that one or two things that gets you and annoys you or drives you crazy, and then all your energy is going to go to that thing to sort that out. How can I sort that problem? What can I do? Well, when you know it's not really a problem, it's an expression of energy. It's an experience of it's an experience, and you know how to nip it in the bud and make it stop. It's enlightening. It opens your awareness, it brightens your light, and that thing stops. So you stop having all the hassle
there
from
you
that
go.
thing.
People who do want to find you, I can share your website,
Great,
any other
thank you.
links that you've got.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I have a free guide, so if people want to explore if this is the right thing for them and or I'm the right person for them, then I have a free
Mhm.
guide they can get started to start exploring. Why are they having the problems they're having? What's their body doing? What's the message for them? What's their body message for them? So there's a free guide on the website, and the website is painfreedom.co.uk. Pain
Yeah,
Freedom.
I can basically put down some of the various things that we've talked about and
Cool.
just include that on the blog page.
Amazing. And the main thing I want to say to people is that you don't have to be suffering. You don't have to be suffering. You really don't. You really can get rid of it. And I've got so many testimonials to take a look at those to get a bit of reassurance and see that it really is possible. Come and have a chat. That you don't have to be suffering. Don't suffer in silence and struggle on. There are. I believe now I've discovered this method and developed this method, but I believe if I've done this, I believe there's multiple, endless ways to heal. So if I'm not right
And
for you,
it's the same
don't
with
look out.
physical injuries as well.
What? Sorry.
Like if someone injures themselves, they can use the same methods to
Absolutely.
recover.
Absolutely. I specialize in physical conditions, physical chronic long-term back pain. That's my specialty. But
Yes.
also people who've had accidents, damage from accidents. Doesn't matter how long ago it's been, and also people who are recovering from operations and it hasn't quite, they're not quite recovered yet. But then, these are the things I specialize in. But people can use this method from all the way to simple niggles. And although I do run the 90-day program, if that's something that you'd like, someone who's listening would like to do that, that's the main program. But I also offer 1 hour sessions, group sessions, or privately, which are much lower cost. And so you can just learn what to do straight away to get started, to shift niggles, problems, and simple headaches, indigestion, whatever, difficult relationships.
Perfect. I think that even just I can be recommending you to other people that I
Cool.
know already.
Cool. Spread the word, and they can get the free guide. They can get a free consultation with me to have a chat. They can look at the website and all the testimonials and see if it's the right thing for them. Thank you so much. That would be amazing.
That's great. Do you want to add anything else while you're here?
Just the main thing is never give up hope. Never give up the goals that you want for yourself. Never give up. There's always a way, somehow, somewhere. Maybe you're blocked, maybe it's tough at the moment, but never give up on your goals. There's always a possibility.
Thanks. Inspiring message there.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Thank you so much for having me on, Nika, and hearing my message and helping me spread the word to others. I think it's so important.